Hey, 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 you are listening to The Practice of a Hoodoo Baptist, my personal journey of root work, faith, and ancestral wisdom. I'm the creator and your host, Chelsea Von Chaz. This is where I honor the ones who came before me, share what's been passed down, and walk you through my experiences of being unapologetically aligned, covered by spirit, guided by blood. I have a really special guest today. I cannot wait to talk to them because it has been a long time coming. They have no idea, but we're going to get into it. But really quick, today's guest is Aycee Brown, depth medium. People say psychic medium, but I love how you say, no, I'm depth, baby. There's a lot of depth in there. Depth medium, astrologer, and spiritual guide known for telling folks what they need to hear and not just what they want to hear, okay? Because that's important. Now, sis has over 15 years of experience blending astrology and human design and mediumship. And of course, super necessary, some trauma-informed healing. She helps people strip away conditioning, reclaim intuition, and live from deep self-trust instead of spiritual performance. That's deep. She is also the host of her own podcast, Is My Aura On Straight? I love that title, by the way. And guess what? Sis is about to come out with her first, this is your first book, right? Embody Your Magic. Yes. Embody Your Magic, a guide to embodying your power and your truth. Aycee, thank you for coming on the podcast. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Okay. All of this is okay, first time I heard your voice, I don't know how you're going to feel about this, was on Clubhouse.
Listen, I'm thankful for Clubhouse. Clubhouse is thankful for me. I met people from Clubhouse who I'm still friends with to this day. I mean,
thank you
with everything. So
I'm
thankful for Clubhouse.
Thank you. Like, some people have like a negative thing about it, but I'm like, no, like Clubhouse was a time, first of all.
I mean, 2020, even 2021, Clubhouse really gave us what we needed.
Yeah.
Like I said, it gave me so much. I met so many great people. And like I said, I'm still friends with many of the people who I met on Clubhouse. And like I said, traveled together, hung out, all of that. So yeah, I am appreciative of Clubhouse.
It was entertainment. It was educational. It was crazy. But yeah, it was just like it was just a platform that was just kind of, there was no algorithm. It was just like, whoever is in here is in here. Yes. So it was this space of like just discovering so many cool people. And also kind of like connecting with folks who you just maybe like you may have not come across if we just was looking at Instagram or even TikTok even, which I did prefer it over TikTok. But I don't know if you remember this, but we have a beautiful person, mutual friend, Francesca Hoagie.
Yes, that's I was just with Franny like 2 weeks ago.
My goodness, I love Franny. Franny, that's my dog. That's my dog.
Soho House, chilling, eating.
Nice. That's nice.
All night. Yeah, like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, she's to blame for this connection as far as like, because hearing your voice is one thing in the content, but I think really like tapping into your work, your content. And I don't know if you remember, but it might have been like Clubhouse era around that time, but it was some years ago. But I was trying to explain human design to someone, and I asked Francesca, I was like, hey, I don't know if you're cool with like asking Aycee a question. I was like, but if you could ask, like, for me, really quick, can you ask her, how do I explain human design to my most like ratchet friend? And she cracked up. She was like, really? I was like, yeah, because I'm trying to explain it to somebody. And I don't know if it's not clicking. I was like, but I want to, explain it. But no, it was so funny. And she was like, you need to be following her. I was like, you know what? I was like, you're right. Let me follow this. Because it was like some time. But I was like, no, because I have this thing where, first of all, as far as astrology, I think you do amazing work. My mother is the reason why I'm in astrology. Like, my mother told me, like, she learned astrology when she was a kid. And my mom's from Alabama. So to her, it was just more so like something that her elders just taught her to kind of like show like, here, this is a guide for you. This is a space guide. This is a spiritual guide for you. And, you read up about yourself and all these different like gifts you have. And she said it just kind of like grew into something that was very like just normal to where like she taught me about it. And then I got more into between tropical and sidereal. Okay. And then I would say within the last maybe just 10 years, tapping more into human design. And I think the way in how you blend everything within your work, I think it shows a lot of integrity because you also make it educational, because I get it. Yeah. Like some people are very like, once they get put onto the way like astrology, it can be kind of narrow. I don't know if that's the best word to use, but they really just like stick to this one way of how they were taught, and they don't really want to expand beyond the big three even. Like I'm into my South and North Node, and and I'm always talking about my Taurus rising. And I appreciate that you always talk about the rising sign as well. And what's really cool about me, little T, tropical or sidereal, I'm still Taurus rising.
That's rare. Same with me. I'm a Sagittarius rising, tropical or sidereal.
I love that. That's really cool. Ooh, I feel special. Okay. I wanted to get into
rare for the sidereal people who listen. Yeah. To me, it's rare when I look at charts. It's very rare that I see someone with the same tropical and the same sidereal.
Do you have I don't want to say necessarily like a favorite system, or I guess like let me know which system you more so connect with the most? And if so, like why?
It depends on what.
Okay.
It depends on what. So if it is for romantic relationships,
okay,
I have a hierarchy there. If it is just regular day to day, I have a hierarchy there. So for romantic relationships, for me, there's a system called cardology. And it's the system of the cards. Every birth date has a card associated with it. To me, that's number one. I'm going to look at your card first and see how that kind of goes with for any type of relationship, whether that's romantic, professional, platonic. And then second would be human design, and then last would be astrology for romantic relationships. And then for just your regular day-to-day life, I would say it would be astrology, then human design. And when we're thinking about astrology, I really do like sidereal for timing.
Got it.
Timing more for big things, not necessarily the day-to-day or the month-to-month or the quarter-to-quarter kind of stuff, more for bigger transitions like marriage, children, even a little bit of business stuff. It really depends. But I also like to say that sidereal for me has always shown up more of a subconscious, how I'm feeling in reaction to what my tropical placements are doing.
I dig that. I have become a bit more, I've been leaning more into human design and sidereal. And I think more so because I just only knew about tropical for the longest. So I love just these new discoveries. And I think, but I love how you said that, because for me, I've always had looked to astrology and human design more so for business, life, personal work, not necessarily for love though. For some reason, I'm just like, let's just. Yeah, I always like want to just know about what a money is at. I just want to know what a money is at.
Y'all crazy. No, okay. Hey, do you?
No, but I've just noticed that like anything about like the love part, it's like, oh, I ignore, or if it's not even about ignoring it, I'm just always pointing towards like about career moves, business moves.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Great. But pay attention to that love. Just a teeny, tiny bit.
I get it. No, you're right. I shouldn't completely like ignore it. It's probably why I'm like this very like non-monogamous free spirit, but we'll get into it because I love how the way and how you integrate all the things. It's not always about like love and light, like you tell it like it is.
No,
you tell it like it is. Yeah, so for sure.
That's really where people feel. It's so funny when certain people come on my post. I'll just say, who don't look like me. Sometimes they're like, oh, you're so mean, or blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, girl, this is my lens. This is my reality. I don't have the privilege to walk around like things are sunshine and rainbows, even though, yes, I have access to it and all of that. But my reality is, this is the lens. So I have to be prepared for all angles.
Yeah.
Not just, the great parts of being a Venus in Pisces and all of that stuff. I'm delusional also. And I've had to like go through a lot of healing to not be like that.
Yeah,
so that's like the truth. So I think that's where I differ from these modalities in astrology, human design, and numerology, mediumship, everything, is that I want to tell the truth about it, because people are so looking forward to access the great parts of it, but there's also, as above, so below.
How did you get there? How did your own journey from like conditioning, learning like self-trust, learning about yourself, confidence, like all the things, how did you get to this point where, because it sounds like to me like shadow work is also your thing, like you're not shying away from.
That's it. That is it. We are here. Scorpio rules my 12th house. I'm here.
But I want to know, like, how did you get there to where, like, this has shaped the way that you guide other people?
I mean, well, for me, I grew up with emotionally immature parents. And so growing up, you think something's wrong with you. And you're like, well, what's going on? Like, is there something wrong with me? I'm hearing this about myself. I'm hearing that about myself in my formative years. And, 13, 14, 15, 16, about things, instead of getting support or nourishment or being nurtured, I'm hearing what's wrong with me or where I need to improve and all of that. And, it's just like, well, damn, what's wrong with me? So I started looking into astrology, looking into self-help. I wrote my first self-help book at like 13. Like, that's terrible. That's terrible. So just those type of things, and like, okay, well, let me dissect this. And then looking at my parents, looking at my family members, looking at, when I started dating and looking at the boys that I was dating, like seeing how that played out and all of those things. And on top of it, using my psychic abilities, my mediumship, my prophetic gifting, and all of that stuff, and kind of just like figuring out what was wrong with me, because I always felt different as well. Just, in Black households, colorism is there. It is there. I'm the darkest one in my family, even though I'm not that dark, but my cousins are yellow. You know what I mean? As Black people say, high yellow with good hair. That's what I come from. So, and here I am, the darkest one, as people would say. So I'm like, okay, well, this is really odd now too. Here I am, I feel different, I look different. So what's wrong with me? And I never had, besides my grandmother, kind of say, nothing's wrong with you. And that's where the search and the journey started.
Wow. Grandmothers are special. Even on my mother's side, her grandmother was the hoodoo lady in the neighborhood and also in the family. And she's also the person who, because she did tell me, like, yeah, my grandma was into astrology and, maybe even use it as like a form of escapism, because she was a passing Black woman, but also was juggling her family, other people's, mess and all the things. So I love how you mentioned your grandmother. Really, it sounds like she helped you with grounding in yourself and who and in who.
More than that, she did a lot. And she showed me her hoodoo practices. She's from a small town in North Carolina. And she also, in our neighborhood in Queens, she raised about 3 generations of the neighborhood. She had a home daycare.
Wow.
And she was a healer with her hands. And she, at one point after my grandfather died, she was a member of the Church of Unity. And she used to go when Maya Angelou went in Carnegie Hall and stuff. And my mom used to tell me, like, yeah, we used to see Maya Angelou when we were younger. And when they would go to Unity picnics, the doctors would ask my grandmother like medical questions that they shouldn't have. Like, Miss Brown, how long do you keep the kids on penicillin for? Like, they would ask her stuff like that, because she was just really good at it. And she was the one who really kind of helped me with the visions and the dreams that I would have. And she would just be like, the only difference between you and a prophet in church is one of y'all know Bible verses better than the other. And then she would look at me and laugh. It wasn't me. And so that's how I kind of got that self-confidence there. Even though it's interesting that maternal bloodline, I had such a close relationship, but then there was strain with her and her daughters. So, I just feel like it was a gift and a blessing to have my experience with her, but also to see the shadow side of, her losing her husband at such a young age. I think my grandfather, when he passed away, was in his mid-50s. And so, yeah. And my grandmother lived until she was 81. So just those broken links that you see from like, wow, I got this experience, but then also these broken links of her and her daughters based off of her husband dying and things like that. It's just a very interesting thing. So I do feel like a cycle breaker. For sure.
Which is, it's a blessing. It's I feel you on that. Excuse me. Which I think being a cycle breaker is a blessing, and it also can be maybe overwhelming at times and such a huge responsibility too, especially when we're talking about being a woman doing the work and carrying out your own gifts. So I definitely think for me, and maybe I'm sure for you as well, having these gifts and having someone to guide you to say that your gifts are not a curse, they're not bad, like it's okay. Whether it's the gift of sight, I have an aunt who has the gift of sight, and she struggled with it for a very long time. Like, why are these people coming to me?
Why are they coming to you? Why can I look at you and know your whole life?
Yeah, like why is it
like all this stuff? It's annoying.
Yeah, all these things. And I think also with like some of us having these the gifts showing up at a very young age too, and just, wanting to be just a kid or whatever, normal is in a sense. So yeah, I appreciate you for saying that, and also just being someone who is confident and comfortable with your gifts now and knowing how to use them and put them into like tools and resources for other people. Because I think even with like some of my family members, they're like, I don't even want to tell nobody I can do this. I don't even want to tell nobody, like, you know what I mean?
Thing for me about that for a while, probably more in high school and college. But I would tell certain people, they were like, oh yeah, sure, and I'd be like, okay, and then something would happen, they were like, oh, you was right, and I'm like, I know. I was like, I know. Like, so those were instances where it was a little bit uncomfortable, but as I started getting older, it just felt better, just like no need to hide it.
Yeah, I think hiding, in the end, it just hurts you, even if it's like hiding certain whether it's the gifts, the tools, information, or just even like hiding your family history. Because for a long time I didn't know like how certain family members passed away or why they passed away, and the stories behind that. And then also not knowing what my grandmother did. Both of my grandmothers on both sides, even my paternal grandmother, like she was a very business orientated woman, who had certain practices and things that were not okay for the church folk. And you know what I mean? And also my maternal grandma, like, definitely, a God-fearing woman, but also, could work a root. And a lot of people not being comfortable with that. So even like me being younger, I was told to not like share certain gifts that certain family members had, not to talk about it. And for the most part, I just respected other people's wishes. But I think like now, since everybody's older or passed on, I could see how just them talking about it more, or even reading books about other people's gifts more, it's like a huge weight that's been lifted, because I think a lot of them just felt like alone in the things, or just like this is a secret. But and I think also even for my aunt, she for a long time she felt like something was wrong with her, her being so different. But I love how using the term magic, even like with your book, I think that brings a bit more light to it, even with the shadow work. But I think that helps eliminate the stigma, if you will, because I think there is such this really crazy stigma, especially with our community, that we have on so many things. Yeah,
Let's not.
Right.
And I've had people say to me like, well, what magic are we talking about? I'm like, the magic inside of you.
Inside of you. Yeah.
it's always sometimes what frustrates me about our community is that we have so much depth and magic and so many gifts and talents, and the way that religion has just taken it and just made it into what they want it to be, and we've lost so much through that. It makes me sad that there's so much, I would even like to say, there's so much self-abandonment in the spiritual community within our community. And I really hope that with my work, my whole thing is I will walk with you, I will guide you, but I'm not going to do the work for you. You have to go through the canyon. You have to go through these things, but you have it. It's within you. It's not external outside of you. Stop giving your power to something so external outside of you. Like, it's within you. And I just want us to get back to that.
Same.
It's just so important. If we can just, even if you just spend a week of your life living as if you are the God of your own life, how much things could change.
Yeah. Now you said a word, because I remember telling my mom some time ago how, well, I think maybe she saw online on Facebook or something, like a pastor or someone calling astrology demonic. And she was like, how did we get here?
Exactly. How did we get here?
And she proceeded, because I was like, Ma, like, so when you were a kid or even in high school, college, like younger, I was like, was that a thing, like calling astrology demonic? And she was like, no. Like,
I have a
how did we get
collection
here?
of books, by the way. Excuse me. I have a collection of books from the 70s and 80s of astrology books. Some of the realest astrology shit that you will ever read. It's like, oh, why not y'all saying this now? And it's just capitalism.
Yeah.
It's the 80s. That's
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Because that just really, most of the time I just roll my eyes and sigh and keep it pushing, because it just seems like there's this wall that's up, and it gets thicker and thicker and thicker.
and thicker and thicker. And I talked about this probably at the end of 2024 into 2025 about that Pluto and capitalism to Pluto and Aquarius kind of transit and what's going to happen. I said, we're still, because this is a long transit. We have like 20 years, right? 20 plus years, excuse me. And I said, we are going to experience, especially in the first 5 years, of people who still want to be in that Pluto and capitalism, patriarchal, religious society, and everybody else who's like, no, let's get free.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a clash for a while, and you're going to have some thick skin and choose your battles. Like you said, the wall keeps getting thicker and thicker, and it's just like, you can't be serious.
Yeah.
Why are you still here? But as we move from Neptune moving into Aries and now Saturn moving into Aries, you're going to have to catch up or get left behind. And so it's going to be a very rude awakening for a lot of people in the next 2 to 3 years. And if people don't get on board and wake up, then you're going to see what's the consequences are of it.
I left folks behind. I've already, I'm just finding my community, cultivating my community. Yeah, it's just been a long time coming, and sometimes it,
it's sad. You have to grieve. It's just like, because I think what happens, and you can correct me if I'm wrong if this is not your experience, but I think what happens when you do leave people behind and you do choose to elevate is you remember that you were on the same page. And then you're looking now and saying, wow, we've grown so far apart. How did that happen? Like, where did we miss getting on the train together?
Yeah. Right on it. You're right on it, especially for this year. And I remember, like, at the beginning of the year where you were talking about, helping people come up with their magic number, and everyone just kind of like preparing for this shift. And for me, that meant, particularly for me, that meant that I will be looking at my relationships all relationships, friendships, personal, professional, all my relationships, and preparing for this shift and looking at who was coming with me, who will get left behind, and the status of certain relationships and what does that look like? Because I think I've been paying more attention to my own patterns and looking at, just reevaluating, does this help me? Does this harm me? Is this serving me at all? And also just looking at my patterns with people, with friendships, with lovers, and trying to, in my defense, just really trying to understand where that pattern started for me. And how that, if it's showing up now, how is that impacting me in a negative or a positive way? Because number one, I'm an only child.
So am I.
Yes, only children. We have our ways. We have our ways.
We have our ways, but also too, I think only children, we feel really blessed. I never thought I would say this, and my grandmother used to call me the only because I'm the only person on both sides of my family that does not have a brother or sister. So everyone has a brother or sister except for me. And so I look at that as like, oh, okay, I feel like a badge of honor now with that. But also I think only children are special. Are we spoiled? Yes. Can we be a little bit self-centered? But I remember my aunt saying, well, who else she got to think about? And my aunt,
that part.
She's like, well, who else she got to think about?
It's that part.
Her. And I used to be like, yeah, you're right. Who else do I have to think?
And when I mean, like, as far as our ways, and I take all of what you said as positives, because I have also felt there are moments where, I can't expect my experience out of someone else. I can't expect me from someone else, because there are not a lot of folks who have had this sort of, or not sort of, but just have had this the independence that only children, like that, for real, being part of our magic.
We have a very low tolerance for incompetence, baby.
Yeah, we do. We do. And I looked at just certain patterns, and I was thinking, like, because of my low tolerance for incompetence, and also patience being a struggle for me, is that why I struggle with certain relationships or creating new relationships that's new friendships? Because I have friends in my life that have been my friends since we were in middle school, high school, still connected to some people that I went to kindergarten with, and I think that's beautiful. And I also have moments of connecting with new folks, but I think because of this journey that I'm on, it's making it a little harder for me, or I'm just really taking my time connecting with new folks.
I will say this. I don't think that it's necessarily I'm sure, like I said, correct me if I'm wrong, you're probably dealing with two things, because I know I deal with it, is that now that you're on the other side of a bigger chunk of healing, so therefore you have a different viewpoint, a different self-awareness, and you want different things, and you really want things to be in alignment, right? And then on top of that, the incompetence thing of having a low tolerance for that, being an only child, you don't realize until you get at certain milestones and at certain things, and this is not a bad thing at all. It's just something that I don't think get to experience, that the amount of carefreeness that other people have, that they have been provided with in certain milestones of their life, in certain, teens, 20s. Like, I remember having a friend who would lose her wallet all the time. And I used to be like, girl, what's
wrong with you?
Are you insane? What do you mean you lost your wallet again?
Yeah.
What do you mean you lost your keys?
Thank you.
What's happening? What's going on in your mind?
Yeah.
What's up there? And I would be literally confused at the way her mind would think, because I'm like, you lost your wallet, and just go about your day.
Yeah.
I was like, what is that like? And it's just that level of carefree undertone that I think certain only children don't get to experience. Depending on your background and things like that. If you have a little bit of trauma, if you've grown up with, a working mom, working parents, things.
Yeah. emotionally immature parents too.
Yes, if you grew up with emotionally immature parents, that carefreeness that you see other people, or I try to say that it's not so much incompetence for them. It is they have a certain availability of carefreeness for them. And it's just like, oh, that's beautiful. And I try and live that way in many aspects of my life, but boundaries and, those things that will throw me off or make me unsafe or feel like I have, like I lost my wallet one time in college and I didn't even lose it. It was in my shower caddy and I didn't remember I put it in there. And I searched that campus near and far.
Whole world was falling apart, I'm sure.
Listen, and I was just like, okay, retrace your steps. And then I was like, wait a minute, let me go back to my dorm. And it was in my shower caddy. And I felt a sigh of relief. And I had friends like, you'll get it fixed. I can't go to the calf. I gotta go find, and I'll be out here to the ends of the earth. And so
I feel seen.
It's just not that we just don't have that carefree. We just don't have it. And so I think the friendship thing is not necessarily you can't hold on to friends. You're looking at the world from, and especially if you have emotionally immature parents, you have a mental, emotional, and spiritual mind of an adult when you were 13, when you were 14. So you have worries that other people didn't have.
I talk about this quite often on and off the podcast, but I got my first period when I was 10. Wow. So getting my first period at 10, that for me was like a catapult into womanhood while I was just getting comfortable with girlhood because I was 10. I'm like experimenting with learning different, reading different kinds of books.
Right, and the only thing you probably heard was don't get pregnant.
Don't get pregnant, stay away from boys, don't get pregnant, don't talk to that boy. Where, make sure your skirts and your dresses are flat down. They're at this certain length. Cross your legs when you sit. Yeah, it was just so much. And I did not want to grow up. Like I used to be obsessed with Peter Pan. Do you hear me? I did not want to grow up.
Peter Pan. Him looking at
I was just like, Tinker. Like, I want to be Tinker. Like, Tinker. Like, she got an attitude, but she's well within her rights. Right. Going as wherever she pleases. But yeah, like that just being, I think, just a huge component to, just feeling like I have this independence, but it's low key like forced on me. Cause I'm an only child. Now I got my period. Now I have all these other responsibilities that I have to do. Now I'm looked at a certain way too. Cause now I'm looked at like I can't be doing certain things because then I'll be labeled as fast. Fast in the African American community is like it's a slur. I treat it like a slur.
And I had a body at a very young age. So it was just like, oh God. So hiding yourself and all of that. And most of, if not majority of the women that I do work with and men come from emotionally immature parents. And so I know that lane and what it looks like to like free yourself of that and to like heal those roots, those parts. And that's how I use the tools, astrology, numerology, human design, to like get to your most amazing self. I like to say I teach people how to play the cards that they've been dealt, and I take that seriously.
I appreciate you for everything you said. Like I'm like hiding and then like joyous moments because I was like, oh, I felt seen, but oh yes, like oh my God, like yes, that's me. Because I feel like I have spent a nice chunk of my life in between times like watching other people live because of like that freedom that they have, and I'm really being intentional about where I'm picking and choosing to be carefree, whether that's hair, nails, makeup, clothing, my dress, my style, all while seeing other people be free with like I didn't try psychedelics until maybe I was 25. I don't think I smoked my first joint until I was like 22.
I've never smoked weed before.
Got it.
I don't even drink.
And and that's me now. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I just always looked at certain things even like with dance, I danced way more often when I was a kid. Like that was my safe space as far as, to me, that was the space to be carefree. Even in doing choreography, it was like, no, because I have movement here. Versus I felt like because I got my period, I couldn't move how I wanted to move. Now, because I can't be looked at as fast, now I have to be a young lady. Now I can't be presented a certain way because boys will look at me or grown ass men will look at me, and all of that somehow is my fault. You know what I'm saying? So now at 37, hello, a happy 37, where I'm not attached to so many things, like don't drink, don't smoke. I may have probably had like my last psychedelic trip experience for like a healing moment, maybe like over 7 or 8 years ago. But yeah, just feeling way more accomplished now in this journey of healing. It doesn't feel performative. It doesn't feel like super, like, I don't know, like digital, like I'm looking at things online and trying to apply it to my real life, and comparing myself to others, and looking at that is just, yeah, it just feels, it feels good, even in the shadow work, even in looking at the patterns, and also looking at the things that I have been doing that maybe I just picked up somewhere else on accident and didn't even know. Yeah, okay, let me get back to, because you said something, I was like, oh, that's my question, but then I forgot it because we went on a whole journey, a whole thing, but I love it. So your forthcoming book, Embody Your Magic, I love the title, by the way.
Thank you.
You're inviting people to, I think, like from the information that you've shared so far, because you give these really cool sneak peeks about the book online, but I think what you're doing is that you're inviting people to stop being performative with their spirituality or intellectualizing their spirituality.
Yes. So, sorry.
No, you're fine. I'm gonna let you get explained. Can you talk about that? Like, I guess one of the biggest blocks you see people encounter when they're doing that, when they're trying to live through their spiritual truth, not to make it like everybody's being very woo woo woo. But yeah, I think it's important for folks to understand like what that looks like, or what you mean by that, and what you are offering through your services, but more so through the book.
Well, the book is Embody Your Magic, and the subtitle is Create the Life of Your Dreams Through Astrology, Numerology, Mediumship, Metaphysics, and Human Design. And so it's the first time that all of these modalities have been in one book. That's number one. And I also touch on internal family systems as well. And it's the first time, a Black woman has talked about it in the spirituality space. The biggest thing that I want people to do is tell the truth. We run away from the truth so much that the truth, as they say, the truth will set you free. The first chapter, of my book, it opens up about knowing your story and knowing, there's questions in there about knowing how your father treated your mom during pregnancy, how she felt, all of these things. It goes into that because that's important, because you learn so much about, oh, this is maybe why I'm insecure and why I'm chasing the approval of men, or why I'm chasing the approval of women. And this is why I feel this way. It all started when you were in utero. That's part of your journey. And so I start there, but the biggest thing is telling the truth about that. I think what society has allowed us to have is fantasy, which is great. I'm a Pisces, Sun, Venus, and Mars. I know about fantasy, okay? But it only goes so far. We can only utilize it for so long to where it can be harmful. And so the biggest thing is telling the truth. If your dad was a hoe, just say that, because that might explain X, Y, and Z. If your mother was very mean and nasty, just say that. We don't have to sugarcoat it to help them. They're on their own spiritual journey. They have their own soul assignments, whether they're doing them or not. You're responsible for your own journey. I like to say your soul came here to do a job. It's your responsibility to complete the mission, regardless of what happened in between and who did what. That's on you. You got to worry about yourself. And the more we tell the truth about our existence and things that have happened to us, the easier it is to heal and use these modalities, and to also come to a place of freedom or carefreeness. You know, I don't even know if I'm using carefreeness is wrong, but just come, just come to a place of being carefree or having certain freedoms that you didn't. But it all starts with telling the truth. A lot of people don't want to tell the truth. They're afraid of the truth because the truth means losing people. It means making people upset. It means also having shame around certain parts of the truth. But the more you tell the truth, the easier it is for you to get free and to like release that shame, to release that guilt from yourself.
Yeah. Especially when dealing with parents.
Ciao.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm going through, or have been going through, I think, for a few years with my parents, because I've really been talking to my inner child. I'm always acknowledging my inner child and talking to my parents just about certain things. Like, some people might think I talk to my parents crazy, but to me, I'm being truthful, and I am also presented a space.
I said boomers need the truth. We gotta stop around boomers. Okay? If your parent is a boomer, stop coddling them. Tell that lady what it is. Tell that man what it is.
Because they can handle it. Like, what?
If they can't, that sounds like a personal problem.
Yeah, because trying to get my parents to read The Children of Emotionally Immature Parents.
I don't even know why you did, but that was a lost cause. You could have saved that energy for something else.
I know that now, but in the moment, I was just so excited.
You thought it was a good idea.
I did.
They're like, what? You had a good life. Girl, bye. Whatever.
With you, it ain't nothing wrong with me. You think I'm emotionally immature?
Nothing's wrong with me. I'm great. I gave you this. You had this. You could have been homeless. I could have been on this. Girl.
Oh my goodness. I didn't know, but yeah. Ooh, I got a cute little cuss out from both of them. And my father, Loki, he blocked me. He was like, I'm blocking you. I'm not doing this.
You could have saved yourself some heartache, but you trying to be Oprah.
Yes, like seriously trying to be Oprah, having these like come to Jesus moments, like trying to bring them in. No, it was not happening. So I'm like, yeah, let me just direct this, to myself and just give grace, present grace, and just make a space for friendship. Because I would say we didn't really have that with my parents when I was younger. Because I even would say, like, even today, I have friendships with certain great aunts and, and uncles, which I think is really cool. And could talk to some folks about anything and everything. So yeah, it's just really important for me to present that with my parents. So yeah, I hear you. But yeah, it was just, I felt moved in the moment, and I immediately was like, yeah, this is not a great idea.
You're like, what?
Immediately regretted this. Yes. Definitely. Right. Yeah, no, it's okay. Like, we're here. Yeah, so I'm really excited. If y'all have not pre-ordered this book, like, you a hater. Let's just be honest. You're a hater. No, but seriously, I'm really excited about this book for you. I think it's right on time too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Out on an eclipse, so that was interesting.
Whoever
chose that date. I think it was Spirit, because this is also the day after my grandmother's birthday.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. No, it's right on time. I think there's probably millions of people who are just paying more attention to the tools that they were given either when they were younger, and just reevaluating what they've been using and how they've been applying it. And I think for some people, there's probably a lot of people that just don't know none of the things, or whether it's astrology, human design, or any like divination tools, really. I think it's super important for folks to have this, be able to read your book and use it. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. It's not just a book that's just gonna educate you and give you information.
No.
You've created like a guide for people to actually like journal and keep track.
Journal. You can do this with a group of friends. Like, it's a book that you do. You just don't read. It's not information. It's half memoir, half instruction. So it's not just like, oh, go look to page such and such for what it means to be a projector, or go and look what it means to have this type of rising sign or this life path number. No, it's telling you how these tools help you work in what I call the canyon. And the canyon is the shadow space, and how to move yourself through the canyon and ask these questions to yourself and journal about them, and utilizing these tools at different points and why they matter. So this is something that you can do in a book club, that you can do with a friend. I advise people to take the answers to their therapist and discuss it there. It's a very interactive book that will ask you questions that you really should answer, and then it has information to tell you kind of the why behind it.
Yeah, I'm excited. I've already pre-ordered mine. So excited. I can't wait. I have to just like be on your Instagram until then. But yeah, I know. So once I get it in the mail, it's on. Cause yeah, I think it's also really cool. You're just presenting this beautiful introduction to all of these, whether it's astrology, human design, mediumship, and numerology as well. So I think it's just a beautiful introduction to how you're presenting these tools, and also just this, it's not just about like a blend, but just like how you said, like one can be used for this moment, for whatever they're going through in their life, and just to understand like when and where to pick this up and apply it and use it for these moments, especially for therapy. Like I love that you mentioned therapy. Yeah, because I think it's, for me personally, and I'm sure there are other people who can relate, there's this struggle being a Black woman in America. There's a struggle of finding a Black therapist, a Black female therapist sometimes. And then there's also the struggle of finding a therapist that actually respects your spirituality.
Yes.
Whether
all of that, all of those check marks. Thank
yeah.
you, Lord.
Same. But it just took a long time to get there. So for me, it was just always like this separate thing where I just couldn't talk about like my hoodoo traditions. I couldn't talk about my experimentations and journeys with shamans, indulging in plant medicine, which they call psychedelics.
Yeah, my therapist is like a borderline hippie, so she's and I love her. She is just amazing. I was thinking about, because I was like, oh, maybe I need to go back to school to become a psychologist or a psychiatrist or something, or a therapist, one of those. And she was like, no, do not go back to school to be a therapist. They're going to beat your spirituality out of you, and then you're going to have to try and get it back because you can't use it in session. And she was the one who told me, like, no, don't do that.
Yeah.
And I was just like, are you sure? She was like, yeah, don't. She was like, don't do it. She was like, you're going to regret it, because you can spend that time developing your psychic and your mediumship abilities, developing these things without doing that. And I was just like, okay. So having someone like that is really, is so priceless.
It is. That's great. I love that for you, because you could have been just not here.
Listen.
Not here. Yeah, I wanted to and that's funny, because when I was a kid, I remember telling one of my aunts that I wanted to be either a psychiatrist or a therapist, because I love listening to people's mess. Even as a kid, I just loved it, and I loved talking. But she was like, you sure? Because you hate school. And that's a lot of school. Because even at 12, I hated school. I was like, I don't like school, but it's like just the social life I enjoyed. And certain, learning certain things, in school, my favorite subject was history. So next will be science. And then maybe it changed when I got to middle school and high school, because then it changed into like more so science. So I took astronomy, I took earth science, marine biology. I took all those things. But I was just like, yeah, it's the school. I don't know if it's the system, it's the school thing. I can't get with it, but I'm gonna figure it out. So I love that even as an adult, you having this therapist who's not just like, well, what do you want to do? What are you thinking? And really just told it to you like it is, which is why I love and appreciate those who have, who heed the call to mediumship, and having someone who is, whether they consider themselves, they say psychic, medium, or just a person with gifts, the gift of sight, listening, feeling, whatever clair it is. I really appreciate those who really who hone in on their gifts. I had a reading some time ago, and it was I get at least one reading a year, but this particular person just, did a simple tarot reading, and I really enjoyed it because it was like a mirror, but also just little bits of new information about like the alignment. And I appreciate all divination tools, whether it's a, Ifa reading, or reading from different Yoruba priests or a hoodoo practitioner. I appreciate messages and the tools. And this particular one, yeah, I would say it was definitely like a mirror, because a lot of the things that she was saying, I felt like I had read them or felt them through understanding human design, because I'm a manifester.
Okay.
And so when, and she's just like breaking certain things down, and she's like, like, don't worry about these people, these other things, because, it'll come. She's like, however, you have to keep focus of these gifts that you have, because you're a manifester. I was like, word. I have been ignoring myself. Yeah, I really have. So for me, it's kind of, yeah, I'll be honest. For me, I struggle with staying focused on the thing, on whether it's manifesting a specific, whether it's a project that I'm working on, my organization.
What is your
long-term
moon?
Well, Libra sun.
Okay.
Cancer moon, if we're talking tropical, and then Taurus rising.
Okay.
Sidereal Virgo sun, Gemini moon, I believe, and then Taurus rising. So she's like, you're aligned because you are an activist, you're an advocate, you use your voice for others, you're in community, you create communities, you're serving your community. She was like, you there. However, you get distracted and you forget you're a manifester. So your levels of manifestation don't always align because of these other things. And she was like, it may not be that you pick up another project, because the projects may very much make sense, but something necessarily doesn't click. And she was like, I don't know if you're worried about money or you're worried about love, but something is dealing with people. It's like, maybe not worry so much about that. Like, why worry at all about the things? So I was like, got it. And I never really felt like, okay, it's a bit of a struggle until recently. I would say within the last 5 years of just, I think, being on social, having to work in real life and work through social. For those who have, businesses and like, oh, I just want to be a faceless business. Y'all understand what I'm saying?
Get over it.
We just like get over the things. And, and she was just presenting, she was like, but you shine. She was like, you shine there too. So, why is that a thing? So yeah, I think for me, it's just been about listening for one, and also using the tools that are there for me. When I went to Ghana last year, I took my mother last year for her 60th birthday. We went to Ghana. We did the whole naming ceremony because my mother had never been on the continent. So we wanted to do all the things. Did the naming ceremony and received our names from the king of this particular village. And they told me the meaning of my name. I damn near fell out. I was like, and they were like, oh, this makes sense. I was like, yes. So the name, Akan name of the Akan village in Ghana, is Aycee Ambanza, and that means resourceful. This has been me my whole life, whether it's information or services or tools. Like, I'm just always using my resources and also just sharing back to people. And that for me was just like a big wake-up call to where it's like, yeah, I may not have been using the tools that have been in front of me for some time by letting certain things like distract me, but now I'm here. I get it. Because I think we forget a lot, especially with capitalism. because of capitalism and all the things.
Capitalism make you feel like you are 25 years behind.
Yes.
That you didn't do the right things with your life. It's just like,
yes.
no, boo-boo, they are cheating and they got a head start. You're fine. You're right on time. And I call him my nephew, but he's actually my cousin's son.
Mm-hmm.
He's 22 now. And he's like, yeah, I can't wait to get my own place. I'm like, for what? You live at home rent free. Your dad don't ask you to pay nothing. His dad owns a construction company. He works. He's in film school. I'm like, if you don't stay your butt home,
my
like,
God,
what do you want to rush for? He's like, well, I want a high rise apartment and all. I'm like, listen, just
and this is your nephew, cousin or nephew?
Well, it's my cousin, my first cousin's son. But I call him
got
my
it.
nephew.
Got
Yes,
it. Got it.
Just the age difference. And I'm just like, what are you doing? Go to school, focus on your film career because that's what you want to do. Stay at home until your dad's like, okay, it's time to train. And his dad is not like that. And it's just like, what are you doing? Where are you in a rush to go?
Wow. But I'm sure he's listening. Listen, if I was him, I would love to have you as my auntie.
He utilizes it, child.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, like,
I be getting, he like, I ran this girl's chart and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like,
how old is he? He's 22? Wow.
He'll be 22 or 23 this year.
That's hilarious. He said he ran the girl's chart. Low key, I'm impressed.
I teach him, like, listen, well, what's her sign? She sounds crazy. What's going on in her family? What's all of this? I get all the information.
Oh my God. I love it. I love the access. Listen, like, cause I was at that age, I was still kind of tapped into my introduction. I want to say Left Eye put me onto numerology.
Left Eye.
Seriously. Yeah. Like whether it was through certain interviews before she passed away. And then like, of course she got connected with Dr. Sabi and then went to Honduras. But yeah. And then through the documentary, it was like a whole like opening because it was always something where I wanted to pay attention to. So the fact that you are the source, real life living source for your family members and people around you, like that's so beautiful because you can teach them all the things. And yeah, between me and my mother, we were kind of the only ones in our family that was really like deep into it as far as astrology or any of the other like any tools or divination tools that we have. So no, I dig it. I love it. That is so funny to me. My partner is super into his aunt and mother both taught him astrology and he was super into it and and I thought that was interesting, but I messed him up when I was like, but what's your sidereal? What's your human design? And he was like, what? And then, I just kind of put him onto the things. And he's like, oh, my God, like, I'm behind. I'm like, no, you're not. But also, like, this is another level or another side of this. And he's like, wow, like, that's pretty cool. Because, it's been a bit of a struggle, I would say, like in dating or getting older and having, being into these things. And there's some people who are just, how we talked about those who will get left behind, where that just completely, dismiss it and say, oh, I don't want to be with anybody that makes it their identity.
Who is tapped in that way is very rare. And I always find that I value that. Someone who's open to what I do and who I am and how I work in the world. So I don't take that lightly when I come across, especially romantically, who do that. And the ones who don't, I'm like, well, thank God I'm not with that person no more. Like into them. Like, oh, I don't know what that is and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Like, no, he's into it. It's a blessing. He's into it. Like when I do certain things, he's like my little air sign. Oh. You're just flowing. You just go. Just go ahead. Go ahead, air sign. And he's all like, he's a lot of water, like Aries, Pisces in there. And I want to say his rising, I want to say is Sag. Yeah. But no, he's
Sag rising.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, he's great. He's great. Like it's so refreshing. Yeah, I definitely value it. To me, that stood out really big because then, he didn't like shift differently, learning about like my hoodoo traditions. And we can talk about like all these other divination tools that are there. Like, he wasn't hip to African traditional religions and their spiritual tools. So it's just super beautiful to find a partner who gets it and who's just open to the ways and how other people live. In closing, I'm so sad because there's so much we could talk about. But no, I really I want to thank you, because for this gift, like what you're doing with your gift and what you're presenting to the world through this book. I think it's amazing. It's right on time. And I thank you because, yeah, I think it's kind of rare to find work that is by us, for us, and also that speaks to us and that can help us, lift out of that. Like how you are the cycle breaker. I also consider myself a cycle breaker. So I think, your intention is to help others break whatever cycles that may be holding them down or their family. And I think it's also great work for the future, of their family. So I thank you. Is there anything that you would like to leave someone with, someone who maybe is like, yeah, I need help. Where do I start? Where do I start?
Well, yeah, I mean, especially if you are before your Saturn return and you're like, what is going on in my life? Help me. I think this is the book for you, for if you are in your teens, early 20s, because if I had this book when I was 21, I might not be talking to you, because I'm, not saying that I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing, but I just would be at a different potential of things. But everything is in alignment the way it's supposed to be for the millennial who is like, where did my parents go wrong? What's wrong with me? This book is for you. I just want to take that, like I said earlier, I take that very seriously. Like, I know my purpose is to teach people how to play the cards that they've been dealt, to help that emotionally immature child that has emotionally immature parents or caregivers, and people who want to do soul work and who are not afraid to face themselves for that temporary time to get to the other side of the canyon so they can be free and carefree, and who can trust themselves, to trust their own spirituality and what they know for sure about themselves, not what anybody else has told them, not what their family line has told them they're supposed to do, be, have, or say. That is what I want people to walk away with their encounters with me, with the work that is online, with this book, where if you ever meet me, if you're ever in community with me, that I'm going to encourage you. I'm going to motivate you. I always believe that everyone has an idea. There's something that's ready to be birthed inside of you that's bigger than you, that will carry your entire lineage to the next spiritual level. And I want people to do it, whether it is baking or whatever it is that you have a dream to do that is in your heart. I want people to take the risk and to move in that direction towards it. I'm very, very big on that. I just feel that everyone has this magical energy and this magical power to do something greater and bigger outside of themselves, that can change their communities, that can change their lineage, that can change the way people feel about something. And I want people to stop hiding that or thinking that it's not for them. It's just so important for you to take that seriously, to take those ideas, to take that vision that you have, that people say that you're delusional or it can never happen to you. It's a lie. It can. It's for you. It's yours. You just have to move in that direction. I truly don't believe that spirit, God, whatever you call him or her, doesn't put these things within you to play with you.
Yeah.
Your only job is just to move in that direction. That is it. Stop worrying about the how. Stop worrying about what's going to happen. Just take that feeling, that energy, that desire, and move in that direction. And I promise you, your life will unfold the way it's supposed to, but you have to trust yourself.
There you have it, ladies, gentlemen, theys, thems, cousins. There you have it. Aycee Brown, Embody Your Magic, February 17th, the eclipse. Yes?
Yes.
Right on
Chinese
time.
New Year too. All of that.
Chinese New Year. Right. We're aligned, y'all. Thank you so much for this. I appreciate you. You have no idea how much fun I just had. And this is just the beginning. This is the beginning, because I think the girls are going to get into the book and be on a whole nother level with you from your podcast. Is the podcast coming back for a new season? Yes, no?
It's every week. I have an
Okay,
episode.
great.
It's every week.
Every week.
You can go listen.
Yeah, we get it in. I know that feeling. I know that schedule every week, getting it in. Amazing. Thank you again. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. I know this fed your soul. You have been listening to The Practice of a Hoodoo Baptist. Until next time, peace.